Hello, and today I'll introduce to you the sitcom Hogan's Heroes 1965. I'll tell you the original names and ages of the actors and how they changed in 2022. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to support us. Alright, let's get started. Sergeant Schultz is played by John Banner. He's clings fat, underpowered, clumsy, sly but a favorite guard surgeon. He has two stripes at the cuffs of his long sleeves that represent the rank of Hafer-Weibel, equivalent to the company's first surgeon with the same salary as Oberfeld-Weibel. He wears a fictional version of the Iron Cross. Schultz also has three other decorations from World War I. In 1965, John Banner was 55 years old, and sadly Banner died on January 28, 1973, his 63rd birthday, from abdominal hemorrhage.
The other fellows, they get 30, 40 pieces of luggage every hour. Nice. Glad luggage.
Colonel Hogan is played by Bob Crane. He is the main character of the series, the senior officer among the prisoners of war at Stalag 13, and the leader of a group of secret prisoners who sabotaged the German war effort. He was described by Beaton Bender as having a flair for over-complexity because of the intricate details of the missions he planned. In 1965, Bob Crane was 37 years old, and sadly he passed away on June 29, 1978 at the age of 49.
No kidding! You gonna introduce me?
Introduce you? I just met her myself. Guy cut out on her.
Newkirk is played by Richard Dawson. He's the scammer of the group. As a skilled seamstress, Newkirk was in charge of sewing or changing uniforms, civilian clothing, and other types of disguise. He also uses his skills as a pickpocket, forger, lockbreaker, and safe cracker, especially to forge Kling's signature or open the safe in his office. In 1965, Richard Dawson was 33 years old, and sadly he died at the age of 79 from complications of esophageal cancer in Los Angeles on June 2, 2012.
It's gay, but it was like a thing, something you could get exhausted at.
Colonel Kling is played by Werner Klemperer. He's a former Luftwaffe officer of Prussian aristocracy. He appears to be incompetent, gullible, cowardly, overconfident, paranoid, insecure, and often ignorant. He's a veteran World War I pilot and can be seen wearing the first-class Iron Cross. In 1965, Werner Klemperer was 45 years old, and sadly he died of cancer at his home in Manhattan on December 6, 2000 at the age of 8.
They did have the Pasadena Playhouse around here at that time, and it was at its height. So I enrolled in the Pasadena Playhouse, and it was wonderful.
Some of the
LeBeau is played by Robert Clary. He's a skilled chef and occasional tailor. He's passionate about cooking and loves friends, often hating the Germans and Nazis when they committed war crimes. Despite his great fear of suffocation, he's used on missions to hide in small spaces, such as the safe of Colonel Kling's office, boxes, crates, or waiters. In 1965, Robert Clary was 39 years old, and sadly he passed away at his home in Los Angeles on November 16, 2022 at the age of 96.
You didn't?
No, because it had nothing to do with my past. I was never a soldier. I was never a prisoner of war.
General Burkhalter is played by Leon Askin. He was Kling's gruff and rough superior officer. Burkhalter often grew tired of Kling's stooped demeanor and nervous babbling, and often threatened to send him to the Russian front or have him shot. In 1965, Leon Askin was 58 years old, and sadly he died of natural causes in Vienna on June 3, 2005 at the age of 97.
Verlegt. Und es unterrichtete uns ein geweihter Priester, Vater Schneider.
Carter is played by Larry Hovis. He's a chemist and explosives expert in charge of making landmines. While intelligent and enthusiastic about his profession, he's often clumsy and forgetful. The prisoners often joked that Carter was the most German-looking of them all, and he was often called upon to pose as a German officer. In 1965, Larry Hovis was 29 years old, and sadly Hovis died of esophageal cancer on September 9, 2003 at the age of 67.
I bypass.
You can't do that. You gotta
I know.
show and tell time.
I had a taste lapse myself. I said Agnew.
Kinchlow is played by Evan Dixon. He is primarily responsible for radio, telephone, and other forms of electronic communication. A gifted copycat, Kinchlow easily imitated German officers speaking over the radio or over the phone. Kinch was also a boxer, having participated in Golden Glove matches in the middleweight division. In 1965, Evan Dixon was 34 years old, and sadly he died on March 16, 2008 at the age of 76 from complications of a kidney failure.
A script, and I thought it was a wonderful script, and I said, gee, so I went to read for it, came to New York and tried it out.
Helga is played by Cynthia Lin. She was Kling's first secretary. She's depicted as neutral or pro-Allied, having aided Hogan and his men in their activities, such as providing verification for Hogan's claims. Helga also had a flirty personal relationship with Hogan. In 1965, Cynthia Lin was 28 years old, and sadly Lin died on March 10, 2014 at the age of 76 from multiple organ failure after contracting hepatitis. Baker is played by Kenneth Washington. He's an African-American radio specialist who runs an underground communication center. However, with Kinslow's departure, Newkirk was elevated to Hogan's second-in-command. As with Kinslow, Baker was able to contribute important support to the missions assigned to him by Colonel Hogan. In 1970, Kenneth Washington was 24 years old, and now he's 76 years old. Hilda is played by Sigrid Valdis. She's Helga's replacement as Kling's secretary. Her role is very similar to that of Helga, assisting inmates by providing information to Hogan, confirming details of the stories he tells Kling, and volunteering to accept social invitations from those in need, German high level to distract or get information from them. In 1965, Sigrid Valdis was 30 years old, and sadly she died on October 14, 2007 of lung cancer, at the age of 72. What do you think when the actors in the movie Hogan's Heroes have aged significantly? Leave your comments below this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell to wait for our next video.